And we are live. Hello, welcome to it. My name is Itu Motuba, and this is Talking Issues with Itu. She's here!
Yay!
So we're just waiting for everybody to come in as usual, but I always do the intro because when I post the videos show, and they show this part, and then you find I'm sitting like this, I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for people. So no waiting for people, we just go at it, right? You know, if it's the first time you'll be tuning in to Talking Issues with Itu, this is the space where we get ordinary people to talk about extraordinary things in their lives. So far we've talked about polyamorous relationships, and we've also talked about is networking marketing a scam? And Kanelo and I last week tried to talk about why do women stay in abusive relationships, and unfortunately our connection, report. I see you guys, my screen is so I'm gonna be doing that quite a lot so that I can see who's here. Hi Monday, I see you. Hi Menti, I see you. Hi Vivi, I see you. Hi Mo, I see you. Welcome guys. She's here. Guys, she's here.
I'm here, guys. I'm here.
Thank you to level 2 of lockdown happening. We can actually be together today because we're like, no load shedding from the against us is gonna prosper. Rihanna, no.
And where I come from, it's darkness again.
You
so
see?
it was definitely gonna happen again.
So you see, so today we are about that. I mean, it is still Women's Month, and we're still talking issues that are pertaining to women. And one of the biggest problem in this country is gender-based violence. So we always have issues with gender-based violence, and I think if we think about it, most women will say they've been in some kind of abusive relationship. Whether be it physical, whether be it mental, whether be it emotional, we've all been sexually harassed in some way or the other. You know, just walking down the street and being catcalled, and if you don't want to talk to that person about roja, you know, or I'll touch her and about her, like it's all of those things that we've grown up with, and it's things that we need to talk about so that we can find a solution to and let the guys know that it's not okay. It's not alright. So I'm looking forward to your input as always, because you guys always have the greatest input ever.
Yeah.
And we get to talk to Kanelo, and I'm gonna give her the floor today so that she can talk. Because last week Nataya, and then network we're doing. Yes, civilian shame. So yes, Kanelo, here's everybody.
Hi everybody. I'm Kanelo. I'm gonna try and answer Itu Motuba's questions.
The difficult questions.
I'm not well constructed when it comes to talking, but okay, just to answer why women stay.
Whoa, you see, she's already started, and
I need to go straight to the point.
No. What if somebody is watching you today and was not watching last week, so they don't know who you are, where do you come from, and how do you find yourself in this place? I'll give you a little bit of an intro who Kanelo is. I've known Kanelo for a very long time, ever since we were in school together, and she's one person that's always such an optimist, which is something that I like. She's an educator, she's a go-getter, she's a pastor to be.
Yeah, like I mean,
Yes, and she's one woman of faith that I've always loved. But the one thing that I always loved about her also is the fact that she's very honest. Some kind of these kind of conversations that people are afraid to have, she goes there, and that's why I was like, she'd be a great studio guest so that we can go there with her. Yeah. So in all, I think that encompasses who you are. What did I miss?
I sing too.
Oh, she sings. Yes. Sorry. She sings as well.
Yeah.
And so that's who she is. Now, the reason why she got here is because of the fact that I know her story. She was married, and she was in a space where that marriage was not a good marriage to her at all. Yeah?
A destructive marriage, that's how I call it.
A destructive marriage, I like that. So that's how we got to get here today, so that we can come and have this conversation. So now Kanelo, you can tell us your story of where you started and how you guys met. For me, I want to, when people talk about abusive relationships, they think it's always bad. But I want the romance. I want the story to say, this is where it started and this is how it got bad.
It's taking me where I never thought I'd go today. Okay, I met this beautiful, handsome, perfect. You know, like perfect as in perfect guy. He swept me off my feet, like, and we were working together. Everybody loved him at work. He's such a positive energy, you know, like he will help you, he will go an extra mile. I mean, I was like, wow, you know. And same here, you know, like, but the honest truth is, what people don't understand is broken people attract broken people.
That's true.
So whatever you are, you pull it to yourself. Whatever you think, you pull it to yourself. We always reap what we sow. And as that old saying goes, it's very true. So that's basically what happened in my life. I was very broken when I met my ex. He was broken as well. But outside, we looked perfect. You know, I was this beautiful, young, sexy situation. Like, if you know what sexy is, that was me. So when we met, we got married, like in a short space of time, 6 months. We loved each other, we did, you know. Otherwise, I wouldn't have stayed. And it is not reading your comments, ne?
I am reading your comments.
And checking out what's happening so that we know.
Trust me, I am reading your comments.
And then, so we met, got married, and because of my own brokenness, and I was not ready. I shouldn't have gotten married at the time that I got married. And yeah, we got married for all the wrong reasons. And just to mention that, as a Christian, don't get married because you're under pressure. They said sex before marriage is a sin. You know, don't get married because you want to prove a point.
But what do you mean you got married for the wrong reasons? Why did you get married?
I got married because I loved the whole idea of marriage, but not knowing what is marriage. And I was not matured. I was a child. I mean, I was 24. I should have been exploring my life or studying or something like that, you know. And I rushed into it because, number one, I was scared. What if I lose this handsome hunk, you know?
Yeah.
Fear drove me into the whole thing. Now, when I went in, all my shortcomings came out, you know. What's the age restriction?
We are on the internet.
Yeah, you know, like, and I want to just mention one point again. I went to the dome, you know, and there was Dr. Eve. I'm not even gonna mention. If you know Dr. Eve, then you're supposed to be here.
She's a sexologist.
So, oh my God, it's in the leg.
But
okay.
She's a sexologist.
But, like, Dr. Eve told me, don't buy my toys, you know, because already you could see I was inexperienced when it came to that department. Hello. Like where we come from with Itu Motuba, the Kunduz.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, okay, fine. So it got to help me, number one, to identify one area in my life that I was already falling short. And here I met a guy who's 7 years older than me, well experienced. You know, he knows his stories. I don't know. I'm scared, you know. I'm basically walking into this thing very scared. Number one, my confidence got affected, you know. Slowly but surely, then certain things I started drawing back. I started not feeling good about myself.
Was it things that he was saying to you?
No.
Okay.
If you get that book, get Dr. Eve's book, it will tell you, as a Christian, what's happening to your mind. And that's why I said you attract who you are. You know, what you think, you call it to yourself. You know, this whole thing about The Secret, I also went through the whole secret thing. It's serious. It's not a lie. Life is happening. Life is real.
You know what? Why I asked you the question is because I'm trying to get to understand. Because I don't think it just started with the physical abuse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to know where you're moving from, where your confidence is eroded because you feel you're not as experienced, and then getting to a point where now things get moved from honeymoon, where you are all happy still, to where things got really bad. You know what I mean?
Okay. The one other thing that I want to say is why I got married.
Yeah, this is good. You're reading your comments.
I got married partly because I was running away from home.
Yeah.
You know, and growing up in a Christian home that is not stable, that makes you run away. So, you know, we look at people who are raised by single parents and we're thinking they were unfortunate, but they were fortunate. You are raised in a home where there's two parents and there's so much drama happening between your parents, and you're thinking you have a family. You don't have a family. Something is happening to your mind that at the end of the day you will take years to recover from. And that's basically what was happening in my life. I wanted to rebuild what was not at home in my own home.
Ah, I see.
But I didn't understand that I needed to mature first, you know. So, like, the first time he hit me, let me just jump there. I was pregnant, I think 8 months into the marriage, and he went to his friends and he didn't want to go with me. So I stayed behind. I'm pregnant, very hormonal. Like, then I'm thinking, okay, 10 o'clock, I call him, baby, like, sweetie pie. You know, it's still that honeymoon phase, you know, newly pregnant, like newlywed, all that. Okay, then I was like, where are you? He's like, no, I'm coming. And I remember very well, it was like, maybe like beginning of September, end of September, it was raining. He left with his shorts, and I was thinking, but it's raining, why is he not coming home? So, guy, 12. The last time I spoke to him was 10. 12. Nigga doesn't show up. Okay, then 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, that's when the car came in. Number one, I was not thinking he's cheating. Ne? I was not thinking something is wrong. I was thinking something is wrong, something happened to him. Maybe they hijacked him. Maybe, you know, like, I was worried, like, this is the father of my unborn baby. Like, hello.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm just worried for his safety. And only to find out he just had a lot to drink with his friends and, you know, yeah. Then when he came in, opened for him, and then he parked the car, whatever. He slept. In the morning, I was a bit pissed off. Then I decided, let me go to church. When I go to church, the car is messed up. And I'm like, okay. When I go inside the house, I want to do laundry. There was no dishwasher. Laundry washer, okay? Detergent.
That washing powder.
Washing powder. Then, because when he met me, I was singing and I was traveling and all that. So he was like, after we got married, no, you can't do that nonsense. My wife sleeps in the house. I sleep in the house. Touring and all that stops now, you know. So we made that agreement, okay? We will always.
Didn't you see that as a red flag to begin with? Well, he was restrictive of what you do and what you don't do.
Not really. That's what I'm saying. Young, immature. I didn't know myself. I didn't know what I was doing. And then that happened. So I was like, okay. So you didn't sleep at home, and you must understand. I had some hurt inside of me about my not traveling, my not singing again, you know, because I'm like, this guy, so who does he think he is? So I said to him, you are a fool because you do not respect your own words. You do not respect your own rules. You set this rule and said we both sleep at home. You didn't sleep at home. I'm unable to do laundry, number one. I can't go to church because of what's happening in that car. You know, and then he hit me. Like, he showed me flames, like, for the first time in my life, I felt like, did he just do that? Like,
So you calling him out on his bad behavior is what warranted that he hits you.
yeah, he like went all out. Like that word, a fool. Ne? Then parents came in. When parents came in, I lost the case. Like,
But wait, before the parents come in, I want to take you to a certain place. Yeah, no, we're reading. Sabiwa, you are right. I did see your comment about the sex before marriage thing, and you're right. It gets people into a lot of like marriages when they are not ready. And Reboni says, yes, that's the first red flag. I suppose you don't think about it in the beginning. It's true. For me, that possessiveness is a...
But I saw it as love. I felt this guy wants me around him. You know, I felt he cares about me so much that he doesn't want to lose me.
Yeah.
You know, I always wanted that man who would just like okay. And the other problem was history. She knows all the guys I've dated. They were possessive. That's what I knew as love, you know?
Yeah. So this is where before I read Raboni's comment, this is where I wanted to go. So here you are. It's the morning after, because I don't think the parents came the day you were hit, right?
They came that day.
Or was it that day?
Because it happened in the morning, remember?
Okay. So I want you, when you're away from him, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you've just gotten trapat, like, or trapile, no so. What was going through your head at that time?
Okay, at that time, after he hit me, I called my parents, I called his parents, I told them he hit me. Parents came. And his parents, they said, what did you say to him?
That was what his parents said?
Yes.
What did you say? So it's like,
yeah. Why? Like, what did you say to him? So he said, she called me a fool. And as a Christian woman, you must understand, there are certain standards already you set for yourself when you said you're a Christian woman. Like, you are flawless, basically. That's what you said. You said, you're like, hey, I'm an angel. So they said, number one, you're disrespectful. You don't know how to talk to your husband. You're supposed to be humble. You are up there. Like, who do you think you are? That made me lose the whole thing. The whole thing that he laid his hands on me was nothing. Nobody cared about that. Nobody.
So let me get this. Was this his parents only, or were your parents also there?
My parents, they were just on the whole thing of, we want this marriage to work. God can heal anything. You know, like, and the other problem is when you have parents who are people pleasers, that's where the problem comes in. And when you have parents who will never defend you and who will never take your side, that's where the problem is. So you need to make sure that at the end of the day, before you get into, okay, people stay in these things for parents. They stay in these things because they don't have confidence in themselves. They stay in these things to fix things. They stay in these things to try and show people that they are better people. So I stayed to prove to my in-laws that I'm not disrespectful. That I was not calling my husband a fool as in he's stupid. I was calling him a fool because he did not honor the promise that we made to each other. You know?
Yeah, I see everybody's coming in slowly. Yeah, if you've just come in, thank you for joining us right here on Talking Issues with Itu. Last week, load shedding happened and this couldn't happen. So we decided that we would do it this week. And thank you for coming through. I see you, Ben. I see you. Humulemo. That word that I can't say that. I know it's you. I see you, Fili Kumalo as well. I see you guys. Thank you for coming through. And please, your comments are always needed, yeah? And yeah, Nelly, our parents, yeah? Because that's what they'll do. They'll tell you, because I get that's what linyalo is about.
And he was colored, you know? And they were like, no. In the beginning, it was just a joke, like in the family, like, oh, he's colored, they're like that, you know? And I was like, really? And my self-confidence went, you know, my Christianity was in question. and my wife duties and what and responsibilities and the bedroom issues that I did not even have a cooking clue about them were also in question. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to be the devil's advocate. Yeah.
I know you to be.
I'm going to be a bit of a devil's advocate. So here you are pregnant. I like that scene because it's the first one, you know. I get this is the part where people will ask, but why did you stay? You know, always whenever anybody comes, and the reason I chose that question intentionally because every time anybody says, do you know that person was in an abusive relationship or isn't in an abusive relationship, the question that everybody asks is, why am I? Why am I? You know, and here you are, you're pregnant. Sharp, your parents did not have your back. His parents definitely did not have your back. He definitely doesn't have your back. Didn't you worry about your safety at that time?
You know, the problem is people who condemn themselves when they are condemned. And that's why I'm saying how you are brought up. You know, like as a Christian, when we read in Romans 8, they say, therefore, there's no condemnation. Please highlight it, and memorize it. When you condemn yourself, when other people condemn you, you take that condemnation more and more on yourself. You beat yourself even more. So that was my problem, and that's my weakness. I don't like hurting people because it hurts me more. So I felt when I hurt this guy, I disrespected him, and I needed to honor him. And a person who abuses you, you must understand, even in their right, they are right. And you as the one who's been abused, who's saying, it's your right. Everybody has a right. And that's why when somebody beats you up, please go to the police station ASAP. That's the first thing. Don't call your parents, don't call anybody. Call the police. They usually arrest those people right then and there, as long as you show them blood, you know.
Yeah.
As long as you show them anything. Open a case, you know. So I never opened cases. I didn't do anything. I always called parents, and they always found mistakes with me. And therefore, I was the one who was always fixing things, and always the one at fault.
So now, this happens once. It has happened. When did it happen again?
It happened again, in different occasions. Like, okay, one time, I found him cheating. This lady sent him whatever in his phone, and I found that thing in the phone. We didn't have passwords on our phones.
An explicit picture?
Yeah. You know, like the woman's thing.
Oh,
like
the VV.
You understand? And
the VJ.
Vuvu. Like real vuvu.
In your face.
In the phone like that, opened. So that's what I'm saying. As a Christian woman, when you get married, please, somebody, yeah, get to know the guy first. Understand what he likes. Understand what goes on in his mind. Because I could not send him my vuvu because I didn't know
that you're supposed to send him your vuvu. Sorry, this is not funny. That's funny.
Exactly, you know, and people like what they like. And that's what a lot of people in relationships are suffering. And you hide, pretend, you accommodate this person that you met because, okay, fine, they're innocent, but for what?
How long were you guys married?
6 years. Okay, five and something months.
So this was like the 5 year, and you said you were, when it started, you were pregnant. So how long into the marriage was it when the beating started?
It was the same year, 2009. I think if you check on Facebook, I wrote about it. Like when I mentioned the song Bird, you know, I felt like this bird that was caged, you know, but I caged myself. What I want to say is, the person never closed the door. The person never said don't leave. The person never said don't leave. The person never closed the gate. I had a choice. I made that choice to say, I'm going to stay and fix this. I'm going to stay and fix this. I'm going to stay and fix this. I'm going to stay and work on myself. I can improve on this. I can, you understand? That's why I was reading about it. I was reading about all these things that I didn't know. But when you are doing it with the wrong person, it will never work. And the other problem was my ex grew up in a home where domestic violence was a normal thing. So how he corrected his wife, it was like that. That's why even the parents never really cared to say, this is wrong. And at one point when we went for counseling, finally, because I would show up at work with bruises and my boss was like, no ways. And then we went for counseling. We started talking about these things. Like, I grew up, this was happening at home, and there were times when he would strangle me, or he would push me, or he would feel he didn't do anything, he didn't beat me.
Did he ever apologize?
Never, not even to this day. He says I provoked him.
So till to this day he shows no remorse for his actions?
There's no remorse whatsoever. And he feels that's who he is, and that's who he is. And now when I went for counseling for myself for 2 years, I went for counseling 2 years. And when I was going for counseling for 2 years, he was telling people I'm crazy. When I was admitted in mental institution, he said I'm crazy. His parents believed that I was crazy. But what he didn't know was I was getting counseling for myself. I needed to understand what was wrong with me. And I got to understand how I grew up. When you are in a home where you are called a goat, when you come with results, like maybe let's say you bring home a 60%, and they ask you, what did Itu Motuba get? And then you're like, Itu Motuba got 90. And they're like, see, like, when are you going to be like Itu Motuba? When are you always feel like you have to step up to somebody else's standard, you know? And that's how your confidence goes down, because you're always living up to somebody else's standard that you never get to. And you are like, when I wanted to do music, my mother told me, no, you can't sing, like, stop it, you know. I remember my dad's guitar, she gave it to somebody else, and music just got cut off my life, and I had to pick it up in varsity where nobody would see me.
So our upbringing also plays a big role.
Plays a big role. Plays a very big role, because conflict management in marriage, that's where it comes in. Emotional intelligence, that's where it comes in. If your emotions are not ready, if you at the end of the day cannot handle disappointment, cannot handle certain words in a relationship, then you will not build that relationship. You will actually break it down. And I also got another book that my psychologist referred to me, and it was Destructive Marriages. And I saw myself, I saw my parents, I saw my sisters, I saw so many
people.
So
it was a cycle from both sides.
Yes.
I mean, from your parents as well, the way you were brought up, and it's also being brought up in an abusive.
Yes.
So that you guys were like a disaster waiting to happen.
My parents abused each other verbally. My dad was not a violent man that he would beat up my mother or it would result in that. So I knew how to bring down a man in 2 seconds like this. I can package you nicely and destroy you with words now. And that I was good in. And he was good in beating up, you know. So, and I knew my faults, he knew his faults. And that's where the problem was, to say, when I go to my own corner, when I go to pray and I say, God, what did I do wrong? Definitely my wrongs show up like, this is what you did wrong, Kanelo. And I remember my psychologist, I went to her alone and I said, I don't want to leave because, you know, the Bible is against divorce and all that. And he's like, but I don't like your God then if he allows your husband to beat you up. As much as you are wrong, Kanelo, fine, you are wrong. But when you see somebody who's wrong, take them to the doctor. Don't beat them up.
Yeah.
If at the end of the day you swear at him or whatever, let him leave you. Because you're a stupid wife, why can't he just leave you? Why is he keeping on beating you up? And he was like, okay, fine. Now you are wrong. Let's now deal with this thing and find out your wrongs.
So before I go to the next one, I want to say, Naomi, I see you. Naomi says that as future parents or parents, we need to teach our children respect and love goes both ways.
Amen.
I agree. I saw most comment as well. I thought Ketwe Paka Ketwe Bala later, Okay. It says religion and culture keeps failing us. Satan is always troubling their kids, and their kids' actions are not spoken about. Yeah, we blame Satan for everything. Get my demon.
Yeah.
My demon.
You know, and he would come, and my dad would come and pray, you know. He'd pray the devil out of our home.
Yeah.
And I would also take him to church. You know, I respect one pastor, you know, Pastor Chawani. He really, really helped me. Like he said, go get a restraining order. And his parents came and said, what kind of a marriage is this of restraining order?
Yeah.
So already you could see then, you know, they were not trying to build our marriage, but they were against the restraining order. Why are you against the restraining order? Because you can also go and open your restraining order. It's very straightforward. Restraining order, even if somebody is just swearing at you, you record them with your phone, you go to the police station, they will arrest that person if there's a restraining order, because it is somehow affecting your emotions, you know. And I also liked the advocate who was doing my restraining order, because he said not even on an email is he supposed to say anything bad to me. And after that, he went to jail 3 times. You know, he swore at me on my email, he was swearing at me on the phone, and I just took all that evidence to the police, and they would pick him up at work in the morning.
So now let's go back here. When was that time when it's 5 years and odds, and when you decide it's time for me to leave? What had happened that made you decide, no, I'm going to die if I stay here?
The marriage was very unhealthy. Number one, the man had needs, you know, and I'm not judgmental about that. The man had needs, and he was satisfying his needs outside, you know. And I remember one time when I said to him, why don't you bring these ladies here to do laundry, to take care of the kids, while I go get a massage and do my nails? I don't mind, you know. That's the kind of person I am. And when you grow up in a home where you are being called funny names, so to parents, don't call your child a goat, don't call your child a dog, don't call your child certain things that they have to stay as your child because they are your child. They don't have any other home to go to. You are the parent, you are the primary caregiver. And I stayed in that partly because I was used to abuse. I was used to being called names. I was used to all that whole nonsense, or you know, and you stay. And that was the first question that my psychologist asked me. Where did you stay before? Because this is not the first place where you stayed. You've stayed somewhere before where you were ill-treated. You stayed somewhere before where you were, you know, abused. And I didn't understand that. I was like, I was never abused. I was never abused, never. You know, my boyfriend left me on the highway at one point, but I don't remember being abused. And
yeah, it's because we don't identify them as abuse, right?
Yes,
and we grow up around so much abuse. Yeah?
Black people, we grow up in abuse. You must understand, apartheid was real.
Yeah.
You must understand where our parents are coming from. And I don't blame my parents. Honestly, I learned from my parents. Because how my mother was raised, she was raised worse than how she raised us. To us, it was better, you know. I don't beat up my kids, yet I was beat up. I don't call my kids names, yet I was called names. But it's because now I've learned, and I'm now transferring better things to my next that as well because of my marriage. So that's why I'm saying we should stop lying. Yeah, we should stop trying to play perfect Christian. We need to teach these things even in church, to say, check the guy's finances.
Yeah, have that conversation.
Yes, have that conversation. How many women
His credit record.
Huh?
You know?
What do you like in bed? And how when you were fighting with your previous girlfriend? And by the way, I did call his ex, and he did beat up the ex. And when he was beating me up, he used to tell me I'm the first woman that he's ever beaten. But he beat up the first one as well. He beat her up. So, and again, they will pretend. They will pretend to be in a very happy relationship. After you, they will pretend to be having this nice life that you are missing out on. But you know the truth. You know what the first one is not missing out on, and you know what you're not missing out on. For the first time, I was able to sleep better. I was able to go home without being afraid of anybody beating me up. Because, number one, how do you sleep with a man who beats you up? Can you be intimate with that person? Like lovingly give yourself out to that person.
Because that person hurt you.
You can't. Because
it's
you
impossible.
don't know if today I'm gonna be beat or what. You are afraid to make mistakes in your marriage.
So in that way, you actually can get to a point where you get raped even within your marriage. Because I'm sure at that time you do not want to have intercourse with that person. Okay,
somebody just joined Itu.
It's kicking us out. If it kicks us out, please come back. I think I'll give about 10 minutes of questions and answers, and then we'll conclude it because it's about to kick us out. But I'll go live again just now. Okay.